Liberalism. Advocates for individual freedoms, equality, and limited government intervention in both economic and social spheres. It prioritizes protecting civil liberties and promoting social justice. Conservatism. Stresses the preservation of traditional values, institutions, and social order. It advocates for limited government involvement in economic affairs, free markets, and personal responsibility. Socialism. Aims to address economic inequality by advocating for collective ownership of the means of production and distribution of wealth. It emphasizes social welfare programs and reducing the gap between the rich and the poor. Communism seeks to establish a classless society where all property is commonly owned and each person contributes according to their abilities and receives according to their needs. It often involves revolutionary overthrow of capitalist systems. Libertarianism favors maximum individual freedom and minimal government intervention in both personal and economic matters. It emphasizes personal responsibility, free markets, and civil liberties. Anarchism opposes all forms of hierarchical authority, including the state, and advocates for voluntary cooperation and association among individuals. It seeks to replace coercive institutions with decentralized, self-governing communities. Fascism promotes authoritarian governance led by a strong, centralized leader. It often emphasizes nationalism, militarism, and the suppression of dissent. Fascist regimes typically advocate for a single-party state and strict control over society. Marxism. Based on the theories of Karl Marx, it focuses on the class struggle between the proletariat, working class, and bourgeoisie, capitalist class. Marxism seeks to establish a socialist society through revolution, ultimately leading to a classless, communist society. Capitalism supports private ownership of the means of production and free market competition. It emphasizes individual initiative, entrepreneurship, and economic growth. Environmentalism prioritizes the protection of the environment and natural resources. Environmentalists advocate for policies to address climate change, conservation, and sustainable development. Nationalism promotes the interests and identity of a particular nation or group of people. It often emphasizes cultural unity, sovereignty, and patriotism. Populism appeals to the concerns of ordinary people against perceived elite or establishment interests. Populist movements often emphasize anti-elitism, nationalism, and promises to address the grievances of the common populace. Feminism advocates for gender equality and the rights of women in social, political, and economic spheres. It seeks to address issues such as gender discrimination, reproductive rights, and equal pay. Progressivism advocates for social reform and governmental intervention to address issues such as poverty, inequality, and social injustice. Progressives often support policies like universal health care, free education, and environmental protection. Pacifism advocates for the avoidance of war and violence as a means to resolve conflicts. Pacifists often promote nonviolent resistance and diplomacy as alternatives to military intervention. Thanks for watching. If you want more educational videos, click the subscribe button.